Good day, boys and girls. I am nerding out today. Doing some studying. This is projectremote.com. We'll get into their stuff here more in just a moment. As you guys probably have figured out by now, as it relates to wilderness survival and things that people's lives can be lost or saved on, I like data. I like facts. I don't like what the survival industry and the TV survivalist era that we're in right here puts out here. It gets people killed. It gets people all fucked up. So I like to do studies, scientific data. I like to get stats from National Park Services, state parks, studies like what we're going to talk about today with Project Remote. But I like to know for sure what's going on before I go teach somebody something out here, because reality is one thing, TV and selling gear and books and bullshit is another. So I'm going to stay on the side of reality, search and rescue operations, things of that nature. You guys, I don't know if some of you may have seen it, did a video recently on wilderness diet and nutrition in survival situations lasting more than 72 hours with some medical and dietary facts in there. And it did one prior to that on water treatment using a coyote or seep well. We talked about soil densities and the filtering capabilities of those, and based on factual data again. So today what I want to talk about is just how wild is this country anymore? How far away from things can you possibly get? A lot of these survival schools and these crackpots out here that teach survival skills, country boy can survive, live off the land, we're going to just bug the fuck out and go to the woods and fucking eat weeds. No, motherfucker, you're not. So we're going to talk about that. So there are 50 states in this country. Obviously, you guys know that. There are 40 of those 50 that have been documented by identifying the most remote point in the state. Now, this is a family, I believe, out of Florida. They do GIS mapping. They're big. It's science is what they're doing. It's a giant family-based science project. They're documenting all remote points of each state, and they're hiking to those remote points. They spend 15 minutes, look for sign of human activity, document whether or not it has cell phone coverage, and they do all this with a child in tow. So I don't know how old the child is now, probably 10, I think, maybe, but I think they started this when she was like 5 or 6 years old. So, these big bad survivalists out here that's going to run around and live off the land and all this good stuff. These people are going to the most remote spot in every state in this country with a child with them. And they're doing it most of the time within a 24-hour window. We'll go down through each state's rankings here in just a moment, and we'll talk about those. So if you guys get any questions on this stuff, send me a comment or send me a message, however you want to contact me, and I'll do my best to answer it. And this is based off their data. They've been doing this for years. They're professional GIS mappers. That's what the lady does anyway. And that's what's up. So let's talk about each state right here. Before we go through the state rankings, let's go down there through here. All right, so the most remote spot in each state is defined on how far away it is from a town or a road. A road is what a vehicle can travel on, okay? That's a road. We're not talking shit that people can't use and function on, or they can't operate. It has to be capable of sustaining motor vehicle traffic. It can be dirt, it can be gravel, whatever the case may be, but it's got to be a passable road. Beaches also count that allow vehicle traffic on those beaches. Different states are different. So average distance from a trail of the 25 land-based spots. Remember, there's 40 states done. 25 of those are land-based spots. Some other ones are swamp-based. A couple of them are on islands, things like that off the coast. But average distance from a trail, 0.81 miles, less than a damn mile. Okay. Let's see here. Heaviest pack weights. Here's some of the weights they carry in their pack. This is the heaviest to get to any of these things. 70 pounds for the gentleman, about 55 for the lady, and 9 or 10 pounds for the child, 6 to 10 year old child. The least remote state is Kansas. It is 0.8 miles from a road, 0.8. The most remote is Wyoming. It's 21.6 miles from the road. So that is the most remote in the lower 48. Alaska has not been done yet. I'm sure that'll be more than that. That being said, a human walking speed is 3 to 3.5 miles per hour unobstructed. So you can probably figure about 2.5 with some obstructions or carrying packs and things like that. So 2 to 3 miles an hour. Percentage of these areas with cell phone coverage. 58% of the remote spots in every state they've done, 40 of them, had cell phone service. 30 of the 40 spots are within national public lands. So, national parks, national forest. Number within designated wilderness areas is 15. Number within the U.S. National Forest, 11. Number within U.S. National Wildlife Refuge is 9. Number within U.S. National Parks is 8. Percent with human presence documented during a 15-minute remote spot assessment, 90%. 90% of the 40 states' most remote spots had human presence within a 15-minute window. Some sign, whether it's an airplane, vehicle traffic, whatever the case may be, 90%. Number of these spots reachable in one day, 24 of the 40. They were able to travel to the most remote spot, document the spot, and then return to their point of departure within a 24-hour window with a child in tow. All right? So, let's go down through these state rankings right here. 40 of the 50 have been done. And this will go from most remote to least remote. Number 1, like we talked about, Wyoming, 21.5 miles. Montana, 18. Idaho, 17.5. Wisconsin, 17. Florida mainland, 17. Minnesota, 14. New Mexico, 11.5. Utah, 9.5. Colorado, a little under 9, 8.8. Virginia, 8.3. Alabama, 8.2. Massachusetts, 8.2. Maryland, 7.6. Oregon, 7.6. Georgia, 7.0. South Carolina, 6.7. Texas, as big as Texas is, it's only 6.6 miles from the most remote spot of that state in Big Bend National Park to a road. Let's see, Maine, 6. North Carolina, 5.5. New York, 5.3. New Hampshire, 4.4. Tennessee, 4.2. The Tennessee and the North Carolina most remote spots are in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, pretty close together. It just happens to be across the state line. Now, that being said, at the Tennessee most remote spot, the Appalachian Trail and a hiking shelter is at that location. So there you go. New Jersey, 3.3. South Dakota, 3.3. Delaware, 3.2. West Virginia, 3.2. Oklahoma, 2.7. Pennsylvania, 2.7. North Dakota, 2.6. Vermont, 2.6. Arkansas, 2.5. Missouri, 2.2. They were able to walk to the most remote spot in the state of Missouri and back out and document it in a 6-hour window. Nebraska, 2.2. Kentucky, 1.9. Rhode Island, 1.8. Iowa, 1.5. Illinois, 1.4. Ohio, 1.2. Connecticut on the mainland, 1.1. And then state number 40 is Kansas at 0.8. So that is your state rankings. And you guys can find all this stuff at projectremote.com. They tell each state's journal about the trip out, how long it took them, what they encountered, what was going on there. The state rankings that we just went through, some remote statistics. Let me see if I can pull this up here. With all this awesome internet I got out here off of my phone. Let's see. Let me just go to the most remote state. Wyoming, 21.7 miles. Let me click on this bad boy right here. All right, so at the most remote spot in the state of Wyoming, it is in Yellowstone National Park. There are rangers' cabins out there within a half a mile of the remote spot. So a lot of these wilderness survival guys out here, they're never going to talk about this stuff. It doesn't help them sell gear and books too well, and it takes away all the live off the land. we're going to roam around and be nomads and kill deer and all this bullshit. They're all full of shit. Okay, this is what's left of this country. There's not much remote area left anymore. A human being walks, like I said, 2 to 3 miles per hour, probably with a pack on and obstructed. And you're talking the most remote spots, and the majority, especially the eastern half of this country, are less than 5 miles from a road. Less than 5 miles. The county that I'm sitting in right here is the 4th largest county land area in the state of Tennessee. It's roughly 30 miles by 28 miles or so, width, north, south, east, west. Dude, I can walk across this thing in just a matter of hours. And, think about all the roads I'm going to cross between the Mississippi state line and the neighboring county to the north. So, I can't go very far. I'm blessed to live where I live and live in this cabin, and I have, acreage here to hunt on and do things, and I'm close enough to a 14,000 acre state forest to use. But you still can't walk very damn far before you're on somebody else's property. Human population densities are so far out there now anymore, man. Wildlife population densities are another thing to take in consideration when you're talking about these wilderness survival fucking goobers. Tennessee's got almost 7 million people in it. There's 800 to 900,000 white-tailed deer in the entire state. They've already been wiped out back around 1900, and only by reintroduction in most of this country are game animals back and able to thrive. So for these idiots that think they're going to go out here and just live off the land and bug the fuck out, where the fuck you bugging out to? Your neighbor's property over here, because you're not walking very damn far before you're on it. So just a little more reality to put out here for folks to study. If you guys are interested in this kind of stuff, it is projectremote.com. They are doing great work. It's good to see this being done in each state. And they've been at it several years. They got 10 more states to go. I'm sure Alaska will be saved for the last thing. They've already been to Alaska, not to document, but just to travel. And they were dropped 50 miles from the nearest town up there in Alaska. And there's a hunter's rifle scope lens, and it's on this website. You can see their story on that. There's a hunter's rifle scope, a lens out of a rifle scope on the ground. Human presence is everywhere. So with a little bit of proper decision-making on the front end before you go afield, notifications, communications while afield, there is zero reason that search and rescue cannot locate you in an emergency. Now, I will say that this right here, these states, man, every one of them, even the most remote stuff, they're able to get to these remote spots and back, even the most remote ones, within about 72 hours with their child with them, okay? So if you hear these survival guys out here talking about how they're going to run around and live off the land, and they're full of shit. It's that simple. So you guys study up on this if you're interested in this kind of stuff. I am. I like facts. I like data. So that's today's video, folks. Projectremote.com. Check them folks out. Got the state rankings. You can print that stuff off. You can see all this good stuff. But it's on their site. So anyway, stay safe. I'm out.